two tabs. One is task name, I'll execute it as a before change and after change. So once it is done, now we'll compare it. Instead of testing for executions, what you have to do, you have to say here, compare. Now see what next. The package what you are using now here is called. Also the syntax you are using here is called compare performance. That's it. So after you compare, you'll come to know that the comparison, you'll come to know that it is working good way or it's working in a bad way. So it'll give you the information whether it's working good or whether it is working bad. So your change, you did some change before and after change. So is it compare performance? Now the syntax, let's start learning one by one. So here, at the very beginning, I have to say that create two time with one time called STS, one time is called task. Let's slowly repeat. This is called create SQL set. Number one. Next, in this SQL set, load it. So you prepared STS, you loaded the statements. That's we call create. After that, load. Here's the loading options. After load is done, now you will go for one more time, create. What you are creating now? Task. For what purpose you are creating? Analysis purpose. What is the topic is called? SQL Performance Analyzer. Analyzer stand for analyzing is nothing but analysis. So you need to come. Now what is the purpose to analyze for? Performance purpose. So we wanted to compare that performance. So for that we need to prepare task. You create a STS, you create a task. So that is we call. While creating this task, how many values I have to pass? Only two values. One is my STS name and one is my task. That's over. Next. Once the create is over, then the STS creation, task creation is done. Now in the syntax of here, task name is given. Now create analyze task is mentioned. Now scroll down. Now you will see the another syntax. In this syntax, you will use the same package. Now here you will see the three values. What are the three values? One is called task name. One is my execution type. And the third one is my execution name. This task is a mandatory to give the same name what you given in the above task name. You cannot change this. Second, the execution type, it has to maintain text execute because you need to verify what is there in that. Next one is the execution name. Hardly three value you have to pass it here before change, and then do some changes like whatever your choice. So here the execution type later becomes, instead of test execute, later becomes a here. Instead of test execute, later becomes a compare performance. So middle value later gets changed. But here, what is the heading here? Execute analyze task. Earlier it is called create. Earlier it is create and analyze task. Whereas here now, in this case now, execute analyze task. That's we call test execute. Now once you executed a task, hold on, and just last but least, you go ahead and compare. So one time I'll go with before and one time I'll go with after. So at the end, I'll go with the compare. Now let's say here, what next? Compare is other word here. Compare performance. Compare performance is nothing but where you are comparing. What are the things I can compare? So whenever you talk about metrics, area to compare. Metrics are the word, area to compare. So what are the performance impact analysis? Somebody asks you, tell me it's working good or bad. What you need to compare? Answer would be very simple. Compare these metrics. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Good or bad? According to this 6 value area, which has to be measuring whether it's working good or in bad way. Elapsed time. Yesterday working 4 minutes, today it is taking 15 minutes. So good or bad? Absolutely bad. Compare with the timing. CPU. Yesterday it is burning the timing. CPU in terms of not percentage, rather it's time. Yesterday it is picked up 3 minutes of CPU. Today it is taking 14 minutes of CPU. So that's again bad option. Reverse. Yesterday it's 15 minutes taking it. Today it is taking only 4 minutes for CPU. Or total time. It's good. Or logical rate. Or physical rate. Or direct rate. Or in terms of cost. Cost is a unit of memory usage, I/O usage, and you can say the CPU usage. Combination of usage of disk, memory, and I/O combined together called cost. More the cost, more the usage. More the usage, that would be more the costlier, or not a good option. Yesterday's cost is 5. Today's cost is 100. This is bad. Yesterday's cost is 100. Today's cost is 5. It's good option. So this is what we call comparison metric. So do you want to pass any arguments here? We call advisor argument list. So which package you are using to compare that? DPMS is called advisor argument list. So comparison matrix and the value will be different. So out of 6 value you can pass. If you don't pass any value, default it is comparing with the timing. So based on the timing, he will give you answer that your query working in a good way or working in a bad way. If it is in a good way, then it is called improved. If it is in a bad way, it is called regressed. Change application side, any changes, you can even take the application side also. It's also possible. Today you say that application releasing some patches from their end. Nothing but they are trying to do some changes in my database as a table or structure point of view, or maybe they are trying to load some data. So before and after I can do these options. Answer this. But for that you need to prepare STS. That's important. Any questions here? So let's say I just picked up this all comparison. Now what is the conclusion? So let's take, I see the report.
One question, like suppose one query like SQL ID having like multiple child number. So how can we compare? Because we are not making any changes.
You will need to load it into STS. You cannot do it directly. First you have to load it into the STS. The STS will have these all different childs, and then you will compare. You cannot compare on the fly. Is it clear?
Yes. And based on the STS, we can use this analyzer, right?
Correct. Answer yes. Answer yes. How can compare the ones without using SPA? You can manually compare with taking this AWR SQR or AWR SQR. So manually comparing AWS PT, single SQL you can compare yesterday's and today's snapshot. You pick up and go and do it. Answer to your question.
Thank you, sir.
No worries. Can be
AWR SQL.
in the RDBM setting.
Yes.
Next, continuation. So I give you all the details how it works. It's the performance analyzer. So let's take practically for the same. So let me repeat at the end what I have to do. I have to go ahead and check the report. So report analyze task will give you either in the text format or it is in the HTML format. What you have to do, you have to just spool it and print the values and then spool off it. So this will give you the comparison options. An example, I got this output saying that this one. So this is an output. So in this output, I'll see that is it regressed, yes, or it will say that it's improved. Here. So what is the value I can see? I can see here to compare performance, can we use historical tables? So why not? You can just load the SQL tuning sets, your AWS or SQLs into the HDS and ask to perform that. Answer yes. It is based on the queries. The query has to be loaded into SDS, and then the SDS will let's take that as a task and compare it options. But you cannot say can I compare the history to history? Answer it's based on your work. You will need to do some changes before comparing. You cannot compare two history. That's another question. You just cannot compare the two history. You have to do some changes. Then only that comparison will be arrived in the conditions. Next. If you want to compare two history, then AWS Carpet would be the good options. Answer yes. You cannot use some scripts to compare the previous value, but for that to compare, I would say that better to go with AWS Carpet. This will give you two comparison of values. An example here. Take the AWS samples and AWS SQL. So this value will be given to a single report. So there you'll get this page. So this will give you an idea about yesterday's or in this particular timing. And you take another report with another time. Like you just take these two, compare this timing, elapsed time, and this timing, elapsed time. And this timing execution CPU time, buffer gets discretes, and along with the wait events. Here you will also get the wait events. That's possible. To history you can compare with this script. Okay, so that's possible. Now let's take about this topic. I'll go with the here, login as Oracle. Let's go with the starting the instance.
So, sir, while you're starting one question, like suppose like SQL is picking wrong, kind of.
You're not tuning it. Okay, normally if you ask me the question like if it is working a bad way, will it help me to tune the query? Answer no. It will only give you a comparison. Will be helpful for tuning. So the other things you manually, I just explained about, you have to change those interpretation things, or you go with this options where you say that I'll go with the advisor, tuning advisor, or access advisor, or manual tuning, or you just do those all stuff. This will not help me to give you better execution plan to be fixed, or it will not help you tuning the statements.
What if like we have like better plan in history? So how to flip that SQL with the better plan?
Okay, now that's still pending the topic where I need to give you how the profile has to flip. Let's say I have a good plan, and how do I map to the good plan? Second point is, without changing the query, how to make the things to be in a better way. I don't have a good plan, but I know that if this things, if I do it, it will make it in a better way. So those two also I need to demonstrate. Answer, still it's pending.
Oh.
And that's a tomorrow topic. Answer to that question.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Let's take the point to be noted. Before proceeding, I'll just recap what has been covered as of now. This is what I'm now doing it. I have one of the query which is there in the library cache. Point number one. So for that, you need to prepare some table. Let's go for here. Create a table and insert in this table, and then say, obviously insert the commit, and followed by what I said that you do select, and then note down SQL ID. Now you have a SQL ID. What you need to do? Create SQL set. Tuning set. So I got all those stuff ready. Now what is next? So you need to load that SQL from the library cache to my load into my SQL set. So after all this done, you have to go ahead and load it. Consider this is done. Now what is the next task is this. Once it is done, so you go with your create table and then insert data plus commit, followed by you go with select and note down the SQL ID and create a SQL set. Next, after creating a SQL set, from the library cache, the noted SQL ID, load into the SQL table set. So you have prepared here SQL set. So create SQL set that you have to load. After that, you go for here, create a task. So that's the task name. This task will refer this as STs. So now, while creation of the task, what it will accept the values first, it will accept the task name plus STs. Next, in the execute analyze. There are 3 times I'm running the execute analyze task. One is create analyze task, one is execute analyze task. In the execute analyze task 3 times, out of these 3 times, 2 times I'll use a test execute. That is we call it before and after. Last time I'll use a compare, where we compare the things what is happening. Focus clear. So after the result would be, if this compare will give you a report, that report you have to generate. So that's what we said. We create a task where you will ask SQL tuning set and the task name. Before changing any changes done, so you have collected, that is called test execute, and do changes and then do test one more. This completes your report is ready to compare to compare the like that. 2 changes before that. This is the how it working, and after that how it is working. So compare that. That comparison can be apply some metrics. That comparison metrics can be your CPU time or elapsed time, buffer gets, disk reads, direct reads, or cost. 6 comparison metrics are available. Default is elapsed time. Now let's take that the whole story with practically on the same. What I have to do, I have to first log into the server, and if the table is exist, let me drop it. Okay, so let's take same output, let's copy, paste it in the today's section. Okay, so let me recap what I have to do it. Here, log into the server, I did it. Let me do it side by side. Here you go. And this is my today's document. Okay, so see, do practice and first log into the server. I already logged in. Let's do it here. The IP address is, for example, 192.168.56.11. Let's open it. It will ask for the username. I'll put my username is Oracle. Password is small. I connect it to the site. Compare task will create a load in the data sensor. No, it not. It's lightweight. Next, SQL plus. So I'll go with the A1. Connected my user with container. ORCR PD. Ready? Next, go with the creating a table in it. So if it is already exist, copy this. We go for here. It is exist. Let drop it. I'll try to prepare one. So once you prepare the table, for the next, go ahead and check the inserts. Successfully completed. Now this table is inserted with certain values, trying to run the query. So I got a query. Let me take the SQL ID for the same. I got SQL ID. Let me take the SQL ID, and this is my SQL ID. Now let me load it into the STS. So let's take a STS name. So here I'll pick up STS name as a STS login. Okay, so let's take STS name. Prepared STS login. This is my SQL query. I prepared STS name with STS login in this case. Now try to load the queries. Here you go. Copy this and pass it. It will ask two questions. The SQL ID, I'll pick up this, and STS name, I'll pick up this. And here you go. SQL ID, the first one, and STS name, this one. That's it. It's done. Now STS is prepared. Now I had to check the STS has any value or not. Here you go. STS has one statement. I have one statement. The column name is called statement count. View name is DBA exclusive. Any question there? Any question here? I hope it's clear. STS is prepared. Now, trying to create a log task. It is first verified do we have any task and no. Maybe in the last demo I prepared something. If it is exist, it will show. Otherwise, it will not show anything. Let's prepare it. So here's my first preparation of the task. So here the variable will be declared and it will prepare the task. Okay, now here name of the STS is STS level. I'll try to go with it. That is prepared with the STS level. Let me just change it. STS name from 1 to 11. That's it. Let's continue. Let's try to get it finished. STS name is prepared. Load SQL is loaded. Task is prepared. Let me check the task names. Now here's my task names. So I prepared one STS name. What's the task name?
You're putting 11 in.
Yes, that's correct. Now I can see that task is prepared. It's today's date. See here, it's today's date. Let's change it. That's fine. I'm okay with changing altogether. If it is already exist, let me even drop it. Task name can be changed anytime. I'll just try to prepare one more time task. Let's create one more time the task. Create and the analyze task. This is what I wanted to go ahead and prepare. Task name, I'll go ahead and prepare one more time with this. That's it. Let's continue one more. So I can see that task 11 is prepared. And I can even see the advisors. Here, task 11 is ready. This task is ready now, and this is a today's state. Try to go ahead and now perform. This is you can increase the speed of this task by a degree of parallelism. It's not mandatory, it's just option. Let's continue with this value. Now what is we are checking? We are saying that before execution, before changing any structure change or parameter change and all, we are noting down the task. This is called execution name. So I'll say here, before change, this is the execution. Now compare that execution name. So now you have completed the details. Now what I'll do, I'll just try to go ahead and compare the execution stuff. Here I prepared there are not many executions which you can see, but I have tested with many more times. But in this case, I need to refer with this February. If I get the remaining part, I'll be just trying to check this. Now, completed the before change, let's try to prepare some index. I'm creating one index on the table, so that's my change. I completed my index creation. Now try to go ahead and check the index is available or not. I will verify the index visibility and its index name and all stuff. I'll say that index is now ready. It's visible. Now next go with the compare with the after execution. Now once after your index is prepared, I need to go ahead and perform the after index creation. I'll just verify one more time with my analyze task. This is called after execution. So here the execution name, you give it anything. I given here after execution. Once it is completed, now I can try with checking this today's state. Maybe you can see the two values. That's okay. So you can go and verify here these values. And you can see there are a lot many values in that you just refer last two values. So how many executions we have prepared? We prepared two. This is my task name. This is my execution name. And this is they are complete. Now things are okay. They are all done. Now about to proceed with the compare. So what we are actually doing now, comparison. To take a comparison with the matrix, buffer gets. I'll take buffer gets as a matrix comparison part. So out of 6, I picked up not the default one. I just picked up this. After that, buffer gets is picked up. Now things are prepared. Let's go ahead and perform the report. This is my report options. So after this report is over, now see the report in the text form. This is my report in the text format. Now scroll down and start reading this report. How this report has to be very beginning. The syntax to generate the report would be this. Way to generate the syntax of the report would be like here. Report analyze task. And obviously the task name you have to give it, and you want to format it in text. So you want to see all the informations. So that's sections wise you want to see all. Now here, how many statements I have? Only one statement, basically. But where it is present in so here statement count is where it is given the statement in this STS. Now that STS you are asking to read it as a task. And the task owner is again the same. It can be super result. So here you need to remember that there is a before execution change and the after change execution. So those are before change execution and after change execution. These are the two different left side which is given here. This is my execution name, execution type. And here it is called execution information. This is called comparing. You are comparing these two. That's a point to note. And what is my comparison matrix? Buffer gets. What we need to remember here, what is my comparison matrix? Let's take comparison matrix. Here. Now what is the job of that matrix? Here. Here. This box says that comparison matrix. Buffer gates. Let me slowly repeat. We have three sections in this. First, the top section says that we are saying that task information and given work information. Workload information you are giving to a task. So this statements you are giving to this guy, and this SQL set you are giving to this task. Later this task, whenever I call it, it will call this STS, and this is in short you are calling this SQL statement. Now here you will be having a before and after chain, that is we call analyzing it, and that is what we are trying to compare it. During comparison, is there any errors and all? Nothing errors, that's fine. Now what is the name you given for this? The name you be given here is, this is we call execution name. So there are three times the execution name you given. One is for compare, that's one is before, and one is after. Three names is given. One is the execution name before, execution name after, and comparison one name. For all three execution names. Can we add multiple SQL? Yes, why not? We can. You can add as many as possible. It's your choice. Next, once you know that there is a execution you added, both are completed now, no problem. Now bottom section you will see that you are comparing it, comparing the performance. Now what is the metrics taken? Buffer gates. How many metrics we have? We have 6. Now yesterday working fine, today is not. What to compare based on these conditions. Now how many you given a statement? Only one statement, that's okay. But out of that, how many are improved and how many are not improved? So he will give you saying that at the very beginning that it's towards improvement or towards regress. So here improvement and regression. So regression 0 means you are not in the negative side. Improvement is you are in the positive side. So what is a comparison matrix we have picked up? We picked up the comparison matrices buffer gates. Due to that buffer gates we have selected, scroll up. So here, this section will give you buffer gates. What is the number here? Before index creation, 61 buffer gates. After index creation, 3 buffer gates. Percentage wise, 95% improved. Instead of, in both the cases, you've given only one record. So if I take buffer gates as my comparison matrix, so he will compare these numbers, 61 and 3. If you give the elapsed time, he will compare this column. So it will compare these two values. If you give the cost, he will compare these two values. It's just a matter of what to compare in terms of at the end. At the overall, he will give you all the comparison values. But in the top, he'll give you scroll up.